After 6 years apart, this millionaire CEO discovers his ex-wife selling churros with triplets, a life-changing encounter. The sun gleamed down on Los Angeles, painting everything in golden hues when Alex Carter turned the corner. The clamor of traffic and laughter filled the air, but it was a sound he hadn't heard in years, childlike giggles that pierced through his corporate armor. There at the bustling street corner was Maria, his ex-wife, radiating joy as she juggled their 3 triplet daughters. Her laughter was as infectious as he remembered, yet it sliced through him with a gut-wrenching nostalgia that sent his mind spiraling. He felt like a ghost drifting in a life comprised of glass walls, built up around cold business deals and hollow successes. What had he built? A tech empire worth millions, and yet it felt like building a fortress that housed no one. The sight of Maria, fiercely working to provide for their children amidst the simplicity of churro stands, exploded his heart with guilt. They had once shared a dream, a vision of family, love, and unendurable laughter. He had sacrificed it for a ceaseless pursuit of status and wealth. Now he was left questioning if any of it mattered. And just like that, emotions flooded in a crashing wave. He was both enthralled and tormented. Did he trade love for ambition? He edged closer, feeling the tension in the air as memories of their shared life resurfaced. Warm dinners and night skies filled with dreams had been replaced by endless meetings and deal sheets. Was he doing it all wrong? He hesitated as Maria's expression shifted from glee to something darker upon catching sight of him. Anger? Hurt? Or perhaps betrayal? Their initial confrontation was charged with unspoken words. Her voice trembled, not from fear, but a powerful defiance. "What are you doing here, Alex?" The innocence of their daughters flitted around them, blissfully unaware of their parents' emotional crucible. Tensions escalated with every exchanged glance and half-sentence, revealing the depth of fissures in their once solid foundation. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As he pitched grand ideas, desperate to prove he could provide for them, Maria stood firm. She was rooted in her beliefs, flourishing in her life, stripped of luxury yet overflowing with love. Each moment of dialogue exposed scars of betrayal he had long buried. How could he offer her wealth when she thrived on the affection of their daughters? His internal clock raced. He was sweating under her unyielding gaze. Then came a sudden crisis, a vendor dispute that threatened their small venture, pulling both Alex and Maria into the fray. Their daughters looked on, joyful but oblivious, as if they were participants in a tug-of-war of emotion. Alex felt the weight of their family's legacy almost crushing him. Could he rise above his own ambitions and reach into this world of love that Maria crafted? With a heart filled with both dread and determination, Alex confronted the jagged pieces of their past colliding with lives he no longer understood. Each moment breathed a fragile sliver of hope, escalating the tension as the air crackled with unspoken fears. Would he redefine success, or continue building walls that isolated him from the love he'd lost? The unasked questions lingered heavy in the air as they stood on the precipice of forgiveness and possibility, the simmering tension leaving them teetering on the edge of heartbreak and healing. Instead of pursuing his usual tactics of dominance and control, Alex felt an unfamiliar tug at his heart, a desire to collaborate rather than conquer. The mundane chaos surrounding the churro stand jolted him back to reality. There was a real, pressing need in Maria's world, and it beckoned him, pulling at the fragile strings of responsibility and connection. As they navigated the vendor dispute, Alex tossed aside his shield of arrogance. He watched Maria handle the situation with an unyielding grace, her voice steady yet firm as she articulated their case to the irritable vendor. This was not a woman defeated by life's challenges. This was someone who had learned to wield her struggles as strength. His thoughts churned with admiration and envy. Maria's life was simple yet fulfilled, while he chased numbers and accolades as if they would fill the void left behind. He recognized this newfound clarity as an awakening, the realization that life was about more than just impressive stock reports or glossy presentations. The vendors shouted back, creating an uncomfortable scene, but Maria remained composed. She maneuvered through their complaints, articulating her points without losing her cool. Alex watched as she drew their attention to the positive impact their churro business made in the community, illustrating their commitment to quality and craftsmanship. In that moment, something fundamental inside Alex started reshaping. "Let me help," he whispered irrationally, stepping forward. The declaration felt foreign yet liberating. Maria paused, glancing at him, a mix of skepticism and curiosity flickering in her eyes. It was as if she could read his mind, an attempt to fix things without actually understanding her world, without truly engaging. "I appreciate it, Alex, but this is my business now." "You don't know the first thing about running a churro cart," Maria replied, but there was a hint of willingness in her voice. In that moment, he realized that this was not simply about repairing their relationship. It could be a learning curve that shaped him into a person who valued love over wealth. Taking a risk, he suggested they brainstorm new strategies. What if they created a small marketing campaign together? Perhaps he could leverage his network to procure better supplies or help attract a broader customer base. Skepticism darkened Maria's expression again. "I don't need your money, Alex. This is about heart, and it's about doing what we love in front of our kids." His chest tightened. Here she was, standing firm in her ideals, and yet the same shadows that haunted him lingered between them, flickers of insecurities, past wounds, and shadowed regrets. But he also felt a rising determination. It was as if every unspoken need was finally surfacing, inviting him to confront this moment with clarity. "Maybe you're right, but how about I assist in ways that won't overwhelm your vision? I just want to be part of this life, even if it's challenging," he replied, the words tumbling out before he could second-guess them. Maria studied him, the tension in her gaze flickering between doubt and something he dared to hope was understanding. The moment hung heavily between them, and he could feel the eyes of their daughters weaving innocence into the tapestry of their confrontation. As they tentatively began discussing potential improvements to their operations, Alex felt a softening around his heart, the weight of the past slipping, even if just slightly. He was no longer just Alex Carter, the cold-hearted CEO. He was a father seeking redemption, a lost man looking for direction. Just as Maria was about to share a suggestion, her phone buzzed with a notification. Her face went pale as she read the message. "It's about the previous vendor disaster," she murmured. The urgency recast the atmosphere around them, intensifying the emotional stakes as freshness of their budding partnership was threatened. As everything hung in the balance, Alex's heart raced at the thought of losing this moment. Could he help navigate their entrepreneurial ship through the storm and finally unlock the love that sought to mend their broken past? In that charged space of uncertainty, he felt the need to discover if they could rebuild not just their business, but also their family. The next decision they made could change everything, and as doubt crept in, he wondered, could this partnership help them heal old wounds, or would it only expose them further? Alex's mind raced as he observed the worry etching itself across Maria's features. That fleeting moment of connection now felt threatened by a shadow of uncertainty. The message on her phone, the pulsating reminder of their past failures, constructed walls where there had been openness just moments before. Within him, a stirring notion took root, a resolution to confront this challenge head-on, not simply as a business partner, but as a father and a man willing to grow. "Maria," he began, unsure of where this thought would lead him, "we can work through this together. You've built something beautiful, and I want to help safeguard it." The strength of his words surprised even him. She looked up, the tension palpable. When their gazes met, he saw a flicker of something deeper. Perhaps hope mingled with mistrust. He swallowed hard, realizing that earning her trust would not come easily. He needed to demonstrate that this was not merely a power play, but a genuine desire to support her dreams. "How serious is this message?" he asked, his tone shifting to concern, the urgency enveloping him. Maria's breath caught as she scrolled through the notification, her anxiety radiating through him, matching the quickening pace of his own heartbeat. "It's from the city," she replied slowly, face drawn. "They're threatening to revoke our vendor permit because of that last brawl. They cited safety concerns." Dread cascaded through him. The last thing Maria needed was to fight that battle alone, but the growing realization hit him hard. He had been absent for years, a ghost in the life they had built. No amount of business acumen could erase the fact that he didn't fully grasp what challenges she faced daily. "What can we do?" he asked, fatigue veiling her features. "We must show them we're committed to both our business and the community." Maria sighed deeply, the weight of her responsibilities pressing heavily upon her. "I've been trying to gather support, but no one wants to get involved. They see this as a low-rent dispute and don't realize how much we stand to lose." A flicker ignited within Alex's mind, a burgeoning idea shaped by desperation and hope. What if we held an event? A community day with tastings and activities. Something that showcases the impact of local businesses and how we contribute to the neighborhood. "What?" she questioned, her eyebrows arching in skepticism. "Do you really think anyone will care?" "No, I know they'll care," he insisted. "Think about it. Highlighting local food vendors could gain us the visibility we need, and I can assist with logistics. If we make it marketable, we can prove that the vendor community is worth preserving." Maria regarded him with a mix of cautious curiosity and skepticism. "And if it fails?" "Then at least we tried together," he said, his heart pounding with the urgency of the moment. "Rebuilding our reputation matters more than pride." He could feel tremors beginning to shake the fabric of their unresolved issues and the potential ramifications of this gamble. Was this collaborative approach enough to heal their fractures? Could it frame their connection anew? Or would it highlight the deep scars of their shared history? After what felt like an eternity, Maria nodded slowly, the corners of her lips turning up slightly, a glimmer of something resembling trust. "Okay, let's outline a plan. But let me be clear. If this is to work, it's got to be a partnership. Not me allowing you to swoop back in with your corporate strategies and credentials." Alex nodded, feeling a surge of both determination and adrenaline. Experience had taught him to meticulously outline every detail, yet now it felt imperative to remain flexible, ready to pivot with Maria's insights. As they formulated their plan, a shared enthusiasm began to unfold, intertwining dreams of success with hints of the love they had shared. Just as they were starting to dive deeper into their strategy, another buzz from her phone interrupted once more. Maria's face paled again, the pallor growing deeper this time. "It's from the vendor committee. They want to meet this week to discuss our status." His gut twisted at the thought. Time had become a shackle. Would they have enough to present? Would this partnership withstand the test? Suddenly aware of the fleeting nature of this opportunity, Alex faced Maria, the silence thick with potential. The moment loomed. They could either grasp the chance to rebuild not just their past but a future together, or shatter under the weight of their separate histories. As fear settled in his stomach, he couldn't help but wonder, were they truly prepared to face the looming confrontation together, or would it dismantle everything they were attempting to rebuild? Alex pushed back his chair, the scrape against the floor reverberating within the charged silence. The committee meeting loomed like a storm cloud on the horizon. He exhaled slowly, feeling the weight of what was at stake. He glanced at Maria, her brow furrowed, the hint of a plan flickering in the depths of her eyes, yet clouded by the palpable fear of failure. "Let's not waste time, we need to prepare," he said, forcing the words through the knot of anxiety tightening his throat. Her nod was curt, but it indicated she was ready. They slid back into a rhythm, driven by urgency and a shared goal. As they pulled out a large sheet of paper and began brainstorming, an increasing sense of clarity enveloped his thoughts. Each idea they penned down acted as a building block, constructing a bridge back to each other. Maria's hand moved methodically, and he admired her precision. This was her domain, and he was merely a willing participant, striving to respect her leadership. What about a presentation that highlights our contributions to the community? Maria suggested, eyes glowing with purpose. Testimonials, photos, anything that shows how we've positively impacted this neighborhood. Yes, Alex exclaimed, enthusiasm breaking through the tension. The potency of this venture sparked a light in him, igniting a passion he'd thought long extinguished. Real stories from our customers. We've always had a loyal base. They could advocate for us. I can start compiling testimonials and gathering visuals. She scribbled furiously, effectively channeling her anxiety into actionable steps. He admired her capacity to navigate chaos with such clarity. But amidst this budding sense of partnership, doubt snaked its way into his consciousness. What if they faltered? Could this tenuous foundation survive a collision with judgment or a lack of interest from the committee? Maria, he said cautiously, what if they don't respond to these efforts? What's our backup plan? The concern in his voice felt foreign, but he needed to ask. That's where our intentions need to shine through, she replied, her tone steady. If they hear our commitment and willingness to improve, it might just sway them. Could it really be that simple? With every point they addressed, Alex questioned if he was bringing enough to the table. Beyond his corporate strategies, could he genuinely contribute to a cause that was so deeply personal for Maria? He noticed how she naturally navigated the intricacies of emotions tied to the business. The realization hit him hard. Business was not just about numbers. It was an intricate dance of values and relationships. Time lost all meaning as they worked through concepts and strategies. The outlines began to create not just a presentation, but a narrative of resilience that resonated with their past. Yet, lurking around the corner of this newfound collaboration was the specter of their history. While they brainstormed, the specter of their past hauntings raised questions of loyalty and trust, a nagging reminder that they might not be able to compartmentalize their professional and personal turmoils. As evening shadows lengthened outside the small cafe they called their workspace, Alex pulled back slightly, needing distance while examining the outline they formulated. The contents spilled over the page, yet the emotional weight felt considerable. How could he wrestle with their shared history while trying to build a future they both needed? He realized that with each passing moment, it was not just their business at stake, but the very fabric of their relationship woven through past grievances and hope. Alex, are you with me? Maria's voice broke through his reverie, laden with concern. He met her gaze, the doubt extinguished by clarity. Aligned with her vision, he recognized that this was more than just a presentation. It was a vital resurrection of their partnership, one that tethered them to their shared dreams and aspirations. Absolutely, he responded, resolve knitting tighter. Let's finish strong. Yet as they prepared for what was to come, doubt clawed at the back of his mind. He found himself questioning not only their strategy, but whether he was indeed prepared to confront the committee, and potentially, the underlying issues between them. The clock ticked mercilessly as they finalized details, the uncertainty swirling around them. The real confrontation awaited, not just with an external committee but within themselves. Would they be able to face the ghosts of their past to salvage a future? In that moment, the answer hung in the balance, wrapped in layers of anxiety and determination, begging the question. When the moment finally arrived, would they step into the light or fall back into shadow? Alex's mind buzzed in the aftermath of their intense brainstorming session. He glanced at the clock. It was late, and the cafe was beginning to empty. But he felt an urgent need to keep the momentum alive. The committee meeting was looming, and it represented not just a business opportunity but a reckoning, a chance to redefine who they were as a team. Let's do a mock presentation, he suggested, brushing off his anxiety. Maria's surprised expression shifted into one of curiosity. You think we should? Right now? She leaned forward, intrigued but hesitant. Yes, I believe it'll help clarify our points and reveal any gaps we need to address before the real thing. Alex felt bolstered by his own conviction. He needed an anchor amidst the chaos of emotions swirling in him. "Okay, let's give it a shot," she agreed, the determination in her voice infectious. "You start." Taking a deep breath, he assumed a confident stance and began to present their ideas. As he spoke, he could feel the tension within him slowly ebbing away. He transitioned seamlessly between facts and heartfelt stories about their customers. Every word became a bridge connecting their business aspirations to the real-life impacts they had made. When he finished, a slight tremor marked his palms, but the empowering wave of clarity washed over him. Maria applauded softly, her expression animated with approval. "Wow, that was powerful. You really engaged with the purpose," she exclaimed, pride illuminating her features. "But do you think I highlighted our role effectively?" he replied, genuine concern creeping back in. "What if the committee perceives us as just another business? We have to stand out." "You're right," she mused, a contemplative look drifting over her face. "We need to weave emotional storytelling throughout. You connected with the audience. Now let's elevate that." In this exchange, Alex glimpsed how his strengths could harmonize with Maria's skills. Embracing his vulnerability, he invited her to critique his presentation. Each constructive note bent their professional history, pushing them towards reconciliation. It dawned on him that this was more than just a rehearsal. It was a dance of mutual understanding, a slow unraveling of the layers they wore to protect themselves from previous heartaches. But within that burgeoning connection festered echoes of doubt. Could their past tumult overshadow their newfound synergy? After some initial hesitations, Maria took her turn, embodying the role of an impassioned advocate for their cause. The fluidity of her presentation flowed like a river, harmonizing facts with a palpable warmth that connected her to their narrative. "That's it," Alex interjected after a pause, buoyed by the collaborative spirit. "You brought our mission to life. We need to balance your emotion with my structure. Together we'll resonate with them on a personal level." As they prepared for another run-through, Alex sensed ideas budding within him, a newfound clarity sharpening his focus on the presentation format. The more they practiced, the more confidence swelled in him. Yet lingering shadows from their past whispered doubts that seeped into every positive thought. "Maria," he ventured, his voice steadier now, "how do we ensure we don't fall into old habits? We've struggled before. How do we avoid that?" She paused, her gaze thoughtful. "Awareness is key. We acknowledge the mistakes of our past, but we can choose to build anew. We have to remember our strengths and the intentions that unite us. If we stay anchored to that, we'll succeed." His heart raced at her words, each one etching deeper into his consciousness. This project didn't merely represent their business. It was an opportunity for Alex to redefine who he was, to reclaim his own narrative beyond just metrics and profit. But as they pulled together their final touches and prepared for impending reality, Alex hesitated. Professional and personal lines were blurring, and while he yearned to embrace this new unity, the trepidation of stepping onto that stage with Maria felt monumental. They were teetering on a precipice, poised between a triumphant return or another painful fall, yet deep within a flicker of determination ignited. This could be the moment to confront not just the committee, but the ghosts of their past missteps. As they stood side by side, hearts quickening in synchrony, he realized the essence of their journey lay in the unknown. "Maria," he noted as the next breath felt pivotal, "when we face that committee, it's not just about our presentation. It's about us. Our partnership. Our history." "Exactly," she affirmed, sensing his gravity. "And what comes next will define who we are if we choose it." With that, as they prepared to leave the cafe, a palpable tension hung in the air. Little did they suspect that once they stepped into the scrutiny of that meeting, unforeseen challenges would force them to confront not only the committee, but their own identities in ways they could never have imagined. The journey to their confrontation awaited, one that could change everything. The fluorescent lights of the conference room felt harsh against Alex's skin as he squared his shoulders. The atmosphere was charged, a tangible blend of anxiety and anticipation. As he and Maria entered, he stole a glance at her, searching for reassurance in her demeanor. She caught his eye briefly before her gaze shifted forward, her expression resolute. The room was filled with committee members, their expressions a mix of scrutiny and expectation. Alex felt the weight of their gazes, his heart pounding in rhythm with the ticking clock. This was it, the moment they had prepared for so diligently. Yet with every breath, the stakes felt higher. "Let's focus on our opening," Maria whispered, her voice steadying him. "I'll begin with the customer's journey, and then you can interject with the metrics." He nodded mechanically, feeling the familiar swell of doubt threatening to drown his confidence. Would the committee appreciate their perspective? Had they practiced enough, or was it all a smokescreen hiding their past failures? As Maria began, her voice took on an engaging lilt that drew the room's attention. She painted vivid pictures of their clients, lives transformed through their services. Alex watched, captivated, as her storytelling drew his uncertainty away, allowing a spark of hope to flicker within him. This was the power of collaboration, of acknowledging their strengths and using them to build a more formidable presence. Yet doubt lingered in the background, casting a shadow over each of Maria's silky transitions. Would they buy into their mission, or would they see only numbers and business jargon? As she reached the climax of her narrative, he felt a swell of pride, but also a gnawing fear that haunted him like a ghost from another life. He took a breath, channeling every ounce of concentration into his own segment. "Thank you, Maria," he began, his tone asserted, but betraying a hint of nervousness. "What we've seen isn't just statistics, it's real-life impact. Our customers' stories are not mere data points, they reflect a narrative of growth." His words began to flow, fueled by the memory of their brainstorming session. He navigated through the metrics smoothly, demonstrating growth and potential, yet it was the emotional core they had practiced that felt most authentic. Their interplay blossomed, and he could see Maria nodding as if echoing his sentiments. But then a committee member interrupted. "How do you account for the past failures in your model?" Their question pierced through the momentum Alex had built, slicing into his confidence. The room erupted in murmurs, and for a split second, Alex's heart sank. Past failures loomed large reminders of when their partnership had crumbled under pressure. It was a personal strike, and the implications were brewing up old wounds. Before he could respond, Maria spoke up, her voice unwavering. "We learned from those failures," she asserted, glancing at Alex before returning to the committee. "We recognized where we fell short, and focused on building resilience. Our new strategies are designed to prevent those issues from repeating." Alex marveled at her poise, feeling a rush of gratitude. Would he have had the courage to own up to their shortcomings like that? There was a shift in the air, the committee's attentiveness sharpening, and he seized the moment to delve deeper. "Exactly," he added, empowered by her example. "Each setback has only strengthened our resolve and creative outcomes. What we offer now integrates lessons learned into a stronger foundation." As they wrapped up their presentation, Alex felt brighter, the blend of vulnerability and courage solidifying his resolve. But as he sensed the meeting nearing an end, his mind raced with unguarded questions about their future. Would this moment lead to a renewed partnership with Maria? Could their combined strength forge something new from the ashes of the past? The committee's decision was still looming like a dark cloud over their victory. Alex now had to confront another layer of uncertainty, whether this revitalized effort could mend the cracks in their professional and personal connection. As they exited the conference room, adrenaline still coursing through their veins, the implications of facing their history loomed strong. Alex turned to Maria, hesitating for a moment. The air thrummed with unsaid words, with possibilities teetering on the edge of revelation. "Maria," he started, heart racing, "this isn't just about the pitch today, is it? It feels like we're on the brink of something that could either break us or build us up," she finished, her eyes searching his. "Yes," he breathed, the realization settling heavily over them. "What if this is just the beginning?" And with those words hanging between them, Alex glanced back towards the committee room, uncertainty swirling within him. The real confrontation wasn't over. It was just taking on new shapes, brilliance under pressure or the weight of history ready to crush them. The silence that enveloped the hallway felt suffocating. Alex pivoted on his heel, staring at the closed door of the conference room, as if an invisible barrier remained, separating him from the critical decision that lay inside. Each heartbeat whispered a reminder of the tension that had filled the air moments before. He felt a swirling vortex of emotions. Pride in their presentation clashed with a nagging fear of the unknown. "Alex?" Maria's voice broke through his reverie. He turned to find her standing just a step away, her brow slightly furrowed, yet her eyes were alight with determination. "What's going on in that head of yours?" He shrugged, attempting to mask his uncertainty, but the effort was futile. What if it doesn't go our way? What if we just laid our souls bare and they don't see what we hoped they would? "That's part of the process," she said softly, stepping closer. "It's not just about today. It's about how we evolve, how we respond to whatever comes next. We could dwell on the fear of rejection or choose to learn from every outcome." Her words stirred something dormant within him. The fear of failure had always felt paralyzing, but Maria's unwavering belief in growth ignited a flicker of courage. Maybe he had been too focused on the past, caught up in what had once been, rather than embracing the potential of what could be. "Right," he said, the edge of uncertainty softening. "This feels different, doesn't it? Our approach, the way we're facing everything head on. I never thought I'd feel so aligned with you again." A subtle blush crept into her cheeks, but she maintained eye contact, gratitude and wisdom radiating from her. "That's because we've both changed. We shouldn't ignore the past, but we can redefine it. We get to choose how we move forward." Her perspective shifted something within him. The weight of their history no longer felt like a chain dragging him back, but instead a complicated tapestry that had led them to this moment. With newfound clarity, he felt the need to express it. "Maria, your courage today, it reminded me of who I can be. I thought I'd lost that part of myself." "And yet here we are," she replied, a soft smile breaking through the tension, her voice lifting his spirits higher. As they stood there, it became clear that this was more than just a presentation. It was a reckoning, a rekindling of their partnership, and some semblance of friendship long buried under pain. They had approached this challenge together, and no matter the outcome, they had already started to reshape their narrative. "Let's set a plan," he urged, determination seeping into his voice. "If we don't hear what we hope, we can brainstorm again. Refine our approach, find new strategies to reach our goals." Her expression brightened, a gleam of excitement sparking in her eyes. "Exactly. We need to chart our own path regardless of what the committee has to say. We know our strengths now, how we can amplify them together." But as they turned away from the conference room, Alex faced yet another pressing reality. Their newfound synergy could either bloom into something beautiful or collapse into the remnants of unresolved feelings lurking beneath the surface. "Just one more thing." He hesitated, a thread of vulnerability creeping into his tone. "What if we take this partnership further? I mean, not just professionally. What if—" "Alex," she interrupted, her demeanor shifting from enthusiastic to contemplative. "Let's see where this goes first. The decisions we make next are just as crucial as today's pitch. We don't have to rush it, and taking our time may reveal even deeper possibilities." Her caution resonated, yet within, a pang of longing flickered as he weighed the implications of their intimate history. The interplay of professional growth and personal feelings was intricate, each step forward laden with potential consequences. "Right," he nodded slowly, the resonant truth of her words settling in. "Let's start with this chapter and discover what unfolds next." As they reached the elevator, a sense of anticipation filled the air. But as the doors slid shut, the realization hit him. The elevator would take them away from their past, but firmly into the unknown. What awaited them at the top? Would they emerge renewed, or would the shadows of history return to greet them? With each ascending floor, Alex could almost hear the echo of answers ahead. The moment of reckoning was closer than ever, and with his heart racing he realized they were about to step into a world where nothing felt certain, but everything, together, could change. The elevator dinged softly as the doors opened, and Alex hesitated for a heartbeat before stepping out into the bright, bustling office space that had once felt so familiar, yet now seemed alien. The adrenaline of the presentation still pulsed through him, but the real challenge lay ahead. He had to navigate this new reality they had forged, both as partners and as individuals. His phone buzzed in his pocket. A text from his mentor Julian read, "Let's grab lunch, need to discuss your next steps." The urgency in Julian's tone struck a chord within him. It reminded him of his long-held aspirations and the weight of expectations. He texted back an affirmative, knowing that lunch with Julian meant diving into the deeper waters of his career, away from the surface-level victories of the presentation. "Alex," Maria called after him, her voice breaking through the noise of the office. "Are you ready for the next step?" He turned, meeting her bright gaze. "I am. I think the real work begins now, refining our proposal and solidifying this partnership." "What about our strategy for connecting with the committee?" she asked, her brows slightly knitted. There was something reassuring in her presence, an anchor in moments filled with turbulence. "Absolutely, we need to leverage what we learned during the pitch." There was no denying that they had both evolved beyond their past conflicts. However, as Alex walked alongside her, the weight of their complicated history threatened to surge beneath the surface. As they entered the conference room, a jolt of realization hit him. This was it. This was their comeback. The room still carried the scent of stale coffee and fresh ambition, its whiteboard scrawled with ideas and dreams. As they settled down, Alex sensed the shift, both in the energy within him and in their shared dynamic. They began brainstorming. With each idea that flowed from Maria's mind, he felt the confines of his previous self start to crumble. She was fearless, unafraid to suggest audacious paths forward. It was intoxicating. Every sketch, every word was a step away from their insecurities and doubts. They were rewriting their story, redefining not only their partnership, but also their individual identities. "Use the tools we have," she suggested, floating an idea about engaging with the community to prove the worth of their project. Alex marveled at her ability to connect the dots, to turn challenges into opportunities. "Exactly," he said, further spurred on. "The committee isn't just looking for data. They are looking for vision. We need to show them that we can create real impact, something beyond metrics." As they spoke, excitement bubbled within him, matching the rapid beat of his heart. The notion that they could conjure something monumental reignited the ambition he had felt dwindling. But with this surge came a gnawing concern. What if his rekindled passion for their work tangled with the unresolved threads of their past? "Do you think the committee will understand our vision?" he asked, a hint of vulnerability creeping into his voice. "Only if we communicate it clearly," Maria replied, her expression steadfast. "We'll build it together, remind them who we are now, not who we were on different paths." In that moment he realized that their journey together wasn't solely about achieving success. It was about reclaiming parts of themselves they had thought lost. But just as quickly, another thought emerged. Was he ready to fully embrace this new reality with Maria, or would the shadows of their past revisit when he least expected it? Lunch with Julian loomed ahead, and the weight of his mentor's expectations lingered like a specter at the edge of his consciousness. As they finalized their strategy, Alex felt a rising urgency to confront what had been simmering beneath the surface. If they were to succeed, he needed to clarify his vision for not only their project, but also their partnership. That epiphany hit him as the time for lunch approached. Clarity couldn't wait. Stepping out of the conference room, he felt adrenaline once more. How would Julian react to this new version of Alex? Would he offer support, or challenge him in a manner that rawly exposed the emotional undercurrents of his past? As he approached the elevator again, a twinge of anxiety settled in his stomach. What awaited him outside this office's walls, both in his meeting with Julian and beyond, would ultimately shape the narrative he desperately needed to define for himself. The doors slid shut, and as the elevator lurched downward, Alex sensed the gravity of choices yet to be made. the pulse of his ambition mixed with the urgency of confronting the complexities of his past with Maria. Was he prepared to delve deeper? What revelations awaited him at the lunch table? The restaurant was bustling when Alex arrived, the faint murmur of conversations blending with the clatter of cutlery. He spotted Julian at a corner table, his posture relaxed yet purposeful, the kind of demeanor that demanded attention. As he approached, Alex felt the weight of expectation thudding in his chest. "Julian," he greeted, sliding into the seat across from his mentor. "Thanks for meeting me." "Of course. I wanted to talk about what's next for you. The presentation was a great start, but what's your vision moving forward?" The straightforwardness of the question disarmed him. His mind raced. A montage of images flashed by. Scenes from the pitch, moments with Maria, the adrenaline of collaboration. What was his vision beyond the immediate thrill of success? How could he meld ambition with personal clarity? "I think we have an opportunity to redefine our approach," he began, his voice steadying with each word. "Maria and I have grown from our past. We complement each other in ways I never recognized before." Julian's eyebrow lifted slightly, an unspoken challenge. "And what does that have to do with you, Alex? You need to articulate your own goals, not just mimic the work of others." A flicker of frustration ignited within. He wanted to shout that he was no longer just a shadow. The thought of declaring himself outside the partnership made him uneasy. "I understand that, but it feels like our goals are intertwined now. I have to consider what we can achieve as a team." "Clear thinking is your strength, Alex. Trust in that," Julian instructed, leaning forward. "Consider what excites you personally. What do you want your future to look like?" The question hung heavily in the air. Alex took a deep breath, channeling into his core. A sensation began to swell. The clarity he sought was more complicated than he had expected. "I want to lead with innovation, something that resonates beyond just profit. It's not just about metrics, it's about impact, about legacy." Julian nodded, his expression contemplative. "And how does that fit with your personal stake? With Maria, and the past you both share?" A tightness gripped his chest. Was he willing to confront the ghosts that lingered? Did he want to bring those vulnerable parts of himself to the forefront, or would he rather hide behind professional ambition? "I worry about the past chipping away at our progress," he admitted finally. "What if it threatens this new foundation we're building? Then you need to address it head-on," Julian asserted, his voice resolute. "You can't redefine your future while avoiding your past. Your ability to face that fear will carve out the path ahead." Alex steeled himself, wrestling with the urge to withdraw from the discussion. "But what if that means unraveling everything I've built? What if it breaks me?" Julian studied him, the silence between them filled with unasked questions. "Or it could be what frees you. You have to discover that for yourself." The lunch dragged on, but Alex's mind was racing, trapped in a loop of self-reflection and possibility. He had spent so long crafting an image of who he thought he was. Yet, each revelation in their conversation forced open doors he had tightly shut. Was the answer hidden in vulnerability, in confronting the deep-rooted emotions that tied him to Maria? As they wrapped up, Julian leaned back, a satisfied smile touching his lips. "Make a decision, Alex. Identify the value in your fears. The answers are there, waiting." Walking away from the lunch, every step felt charged with intention. He knew what he had to do. The conversation had pushed him into a corner of honesty he could no longer ignore. The past was calling, and its echoes promised confrontation and potential transformation. Could he muster the courage to face it with Maria? What awaited him when he stepped out of the shadows of doubt and truly embraced his identity? Determined now more than ever, Alex caught his reflection in a glass storefront as he passed, seeing for the first time not the remnants of pain, but the budding hope of renewal. It was time to prepare for the next encounter. Would he be ready to face Maria's expectations, to uncover what lay beneath their complex history? With a deliberate push, Alex opened the door to their shared workspace. The air felt charged with the anticipation of their meeting. Every unspoken word ballooned between them, a simmering mix of hope and trepidation. After the enlightening conversation with Julian, he felt a flickering flame of clarity about what he needed to share with Maria. Spotting her seated at the table with a notepad scribbled with plans, he found himself hesitating. The transformation he had been wrestling with required a leap into emotional territories he had long avoided. Yet today, he felt ready. "Hey, Maria," he started, his voice more steady than he expected. She looked up, her expression softening into a welcoming smile. "Alex, I was just organizing our ideas for the next steps. I'm excited about the presentation." Her enthusiasm was infectious, yet Alex sensed the underlying tension. They were on the cusp of something significant. "I've been thinking," he said, drawing a deep breath. "About us. About everything we've gone through and where we go from here." A flicker of concern crossed her features. "What do you mean? This isn't just about the business anymore for me," he confessed, the words spilling out with unexpected urgency. "I realize I need to face everything we've been running from. I've been hiding inside my corporate persona, all the shiny success, but without grounding in reality." Her gaze pierced him, curiosity mixed with caution. "How so? I realize I've prioritized ambition over our shared dreams, but I don't want to continue that pattern." The genuine weight of his declaration shocked even himself. "I'm committed to our partnership, not just professionally but personally too. I think it's time we acknowledge our past so we can transform it into a new foundation." The silence that followed hung heavily, romantically punctuated with the sound of ticking clocks and the distant chatter of the cafe. Alex watched as emotions danced across Maria's features. Surprise, vulnerability, and something that looked like hope. "Are you saying you want to explore us again?" she asked cautiously. "Yes, I am," he replied, feeling the ground beneath his feet stabilize as he spoke. "I don't want to repeat the mistakes of the past. I want us to confront our wounds, embrace our decisions, and grow together, both in business and as partners." Her expression softened, a mixture of relief and renewed possibility swirling in her eyes. "This is a lot to unpack, Alex." "I know," he said, his heart pounding loud enough for her to hear. "But I truly believe we can turn this into something beautiful. We've done the work to confront our business challenges. Now let's integrate that into rebuilding our personal connection." As she processed his words, he felt an overwhelming sense of urgency. "I'm here to be vulnerable with you, to share my driving motivations and my fears, and I need you to do the same with me. This isn't just about growing our business. It's also about growing into ourselves." "Honesty," she echoed softly, contemplation flickering in her eyes. "It's going to take courage from both of us. It's a risk, but it's worth it. We have something special here, and I see this as our chance to redefine not just our path ahead in business, but what we could mean to each other again," he declared, hope threading through his voice. Maria nodded slowly, absorbing what he'd said, and he took a chance. He reached out, clasping her hand gently in his, seeking connection. "I want to build something with you again, something lasting, built on mutual respect and understanding." The softness in her gaze gave him the courage to maintain contact. "Can we do it cautiously?" she asked, a slight tremor in her voice. "I don't want to rush into anything without understanding the underlying issues between us." "Absolutely. We take it one step at a time. Let's discuss our fears and desires openly, and we merge those ideas with the specifics for our business," he proposed, feeling the sincerity pulse between them. She took a moment, deliberating, before finally responding. "That sounds incredibly brave, Alex. I'm willing to try, to explore this together." Relief washed over him, lifting the weight lingering between them. "Then let's not stall. We've already tackled the operational aspects of our business front. Now, let's tackle what we truly want moving forward, together." As they transitioned back into their planning, there was a newfound ease in their collaboration. The prospect of discovering their deeper shared objectives brought vibrancy to their dialogue. They sketched not just immediate action points, but ways to communicate honestly about their expectations from both a professional and personal standpoint. When the cafe doors swung open later, signaling the close of a deeply pivotal day. Alex stepped into light infused with renewed confidence. He and Maria were not simply two partners navigating a presenting moment. They were beginning a journey of shared exploration into connection and understanding. With clarity of purpose lighting his path, he realized that they not only had an opportunity to refine their business model, but also the remarkable chance to rewrite their love story, a unique intersection of ambition and heartfelt connection. As they took their seats for the next meeting, they were transformed. Here, among the remnants of their past, they were penning the chapters of a brand new narrative. The air felt different. The weight of old patterns was relinquished, leaving only potential radiating forward. Together, Alex and Maria were redefining success, not solely as a business milestone but as a profound personal achievement. They were stepping boldly into an unknown yet promising territory, fortified by their collective vulnerability, and now nothing would hold them back. Now is the time. Don't wait even one more second. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive emotional stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and support us. Comment your reactions and theories about this thrilling conclusion. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this empowering finale. You need to subscribe now. Only true fans of personal overcoming stories understand the importance of supporting the channel through these actions.